Hello everyone, it's Jamie and welcome back to my channel and welcome to another cross-stitching video. In this video, I am going to be working on cross-stitch projects that are related to dragons, or if I can relate them to royalty, for the show House of the Dragons, because it is starting on Sunday. I'm currently starting this video on Monday, which is the Monday before House of the Dragons will be back into my life, and I am so excited. I loved Game of Thrones. Like, I read the books, I read the series, and watched the show, and I have just been loving all of the other things that we've been getting in that universe. So we have House of the Dragons, the Hedge Knight one, what is that? Knights of the Seven Kingdom or something. Loving it all. I enjoy it. And so to get myself like in the mood for the show, I am going to be stitching on dragon projects, or I have one that we're going to work on just because it's called like King of Hearts and Stitches, and those shows have a lot of like king themes in them. You know, who will be king? Everyone wants to be king. The person who is king should not be king. Like, there's just so much of like, you know, all the backstabbing in the royalty, the royal houses. So anyways, I will just insert pictures of the different pieces that I will be working on. So there is Cozy Winter Booknook, which has a dragon in the artwork over the fireplace. So that's how I get to work on that one. I am also trying to reach a milestone from last week's video. So last week I was trying to get this chart to, I think, 6%. I am not at 6% yet, so I'm going to be trying to do that. And then I will be working on Dragon Race Into the Night, and I'm going to be trying to work on a green dragon that's in the bottom. And also carrying over from the milestone video, I am trying to get this chart to 3% because it's like 500,000 stitches. It takes like 5,000 stitches to go up a percent. So I'm going to be working on that one. I will also be working on a long dog sampler called Dragon Hall, you know, dragon in the name. It's got like a castle and just, you know, things that you see in a Game of Thrones show. You see dragons, you see castles, and so there will be that. And then the last piece is the King of Hearts and Stitches pieces, which, like I said, it doesn't really have anything to do with Game of Thrones. I mean, there's a raven and like Bran the Three-Eyed Raven, and, you know, just the name though, King. I'm like, king, everyone wants to be king, you know. Most of the people want to be king, and so I'll be working on that. And the first piece I think I want to work on is, I'm going back and forth between either Cozy Winter Booknook or Dragon Race Into the Night, and I can't decide. I think I'm gonna do Cozy Winter Booknook first, just to try and reach that milestone, because it's the closest to the milestone. I think I'm at like 2.96%. No, I'm at 5.91%, and I'm trying to get it to 6%. So I'm the closest to that milestone. So I think I'm going to work on this first, and I will be working here, which is where the picture is that has the dragons. So I'll be working on this first, and then I will be back once I have made some progress and I'm ready to switch to a different piece. I also just realized I did not mention the artist. So Cozy Winter Booknook and Dragon Race Into the Night are both artwork by Rose Kahn, charted by Pain Free Crafts. The other pieces, I'll say the artist when I get to them, and they are both on, this is on 25 count, the other piece, Dragon Race Into the Night, is 28 count, and they're both 2/1/2 cross. I am back, and I did 1,000 stitches yesterday and then another 1,000 stitches today, and you can kind of see that there is the outline of like the dragon wing right here. This rainbow part is the top of the dragon wing, and then there's some of the background of the picture coming in, and then I did a little bit more of the picture frame. But I am ready to move on from this project. There are a ton of color changes in this picture here, which you can tell because I have all these parked threads. I don't always park my threads, but it was way easier for this area to park threads because the stitches are just going all over the place. So I'm ready to move on, and I'm going to start working on Dragon Race Into the Night, which is artwork by Rose Kahn and charted by Pain Free Crafts. And this is the starting point. So because I want to work on dragons, I am going to be stitching in this area here. This is the bottom of the chart. So this is the bottom corner, and this is the bottom dragon. So I will insert a picture of the artwork so you can see there's like a green dragon at the bottom of the chart, and I'm going to be focusing on the green dragon, and we will see what I can get done. I really hope that this chart has less color changes than Cozy Winter Booknook did, because this picture frame was crazy. So I will be working on this, and I will be back once I have another update. A quick update, and I have done a little over 1,000 stitches on Dragon Race Into the Night. I started working down here, which is I think like the dragon foot, and then I did some black stitching here, which took me to this, which I'm pretty sure this is the dragon's wing. In terms of milestones, I still have not gotten this one to 3%. I can't remember what I'm at. I think it's like 2.91% or something. I'm trying to get over to Pattern Keeper. I'm at 2.92% according to Pattern Keeper, and so I still need to do more stitching on this to get it to 3%. I also don't think I mentioned, but on Cozy Winter Booknook, I met my milestone, which was to get to 6%, and I'm actually over it. I can't remember how much over it was. I have a book somewhere with my percentage written down. So Cozy Winter Booknook, I did not write it down. It was over 6% though. There was the first day I stitched on it, I got to 6.12%, and I think I was somewhere closer to like 6.3% or something like that. I don't remember. Anyways, so that is my stitching so far. I wanted to tell you though, so I'm going to continue working on Dragon Race Into the Night because I really like working on this. Plus, like, I want to see more of the dragon, and I need to get to 3%, but I'm also going to start doing a little bit of stitching on King of Hearts and Stitches, which is by Tiny Modernist. And this is a piece that I really want to get finished soon because it's small and I want to get my number of whips down. The fabric I'm using for this is a 28 count, and it's called, I think, Lavender Sunset. I love this color. It is gorgeous. And so I'm going to stitch on this one a little bit. Like, I think I'll probably work on Dragon Race Into the Night during the day, and then at night I will work a little bit on this piece. So that's my plan, and I will be back to do another update soon. I still have one more project that I would like to try and work on this week, which is Dragon Haul by Long Dog Sampler, but I don't know if I'll get to it or not. It is currently Thursday, and I try and do the end of my videos on Monday, so we'll see how long I decide to keep Dragon Race Into the Night out. And yeah, I'll be back when I have done more stitching. It is now Sunday, and I am back with a quick update, which I think I've done about 1,000 stitches since my last update video. Like, it's over 1,000. I just don't remember exactly how many. And I was working more on this dragon wing here, which it's huge. Like, you probably still can't even really tell that it's a wing, but I will insert where I am in the artwork so you can see. And so there's like this little like tower thing that sticks up with a flag off of it, and that goes through the wing. And so that's how you can kind of tell where exactly I am. And so the dragon wing is more green at the bottom, but then towards the top it has some purpley colors, which is fun. But yeah, this dragon is going to be huge. In terms of my milestone, I did get this over 3%. I am at 3.16%, which, because like I said, this piece is huge, so it takes a lot of stitches to get up a percent. But like, so here is the top where I had started, and there's a bunch of parked threads, and so I had worked down the side, and so now I am currently, you know, working along this bottom section, and it's going to be a huge piece. I kind of would like to work my way over like along the top so we can start to see like the full like width of the chart, so I'm not sure how far over it's going to go on this piece of fabric. And yeah, it's going to be huge, and I am ready, I think, right now to switch projects. I have it on my frame over here. I am working on King of Hearts and Stitches, so I will show that tomorrow. Today is Sunday. I don't know if I said that. So today is the day that House of the Dragons is on. So I'm really excited for that to happen tonight. And my stitching for today, I plan on working on King of Hearts and Stitches. And I'm also going to pull out Dragon Haul. And so I was like really not not sure. I had thought about continuing working on Dragon Race into the Night, but then I was like, no, let's give Dragon Hall at least one day because I would like this piece finished this year. I say that so much about so many different things. I don't know if it will happen, but I want to at least get one day into it. So I will be working on Dragon Hall by Long Dog Sampler today. The fabric that I'm using is called Iron Ore. It's from theSewingShop.ca. And it's a 20 count, and I am stitching 1/1 using anchor flosses that I had. Like, it's a mix. I have some anchor, I think I have some silks for you in like the castle area, and so yeah, it's just a mixture of flosses that I already had, and I'm gonna work on this today, and we'll see how many stitches I can get done. I think I'll be working more on this top border, which is just, I'm stitching the black first, and then I will have to fill in the colors later, but I wanted to get all of the black border done and then do color afterwards. So that's what I'll be working on, is just filling in some of this black, plus working on King of Hearts and Stitches. So I will be back tomorrow with my final update, and hopefully it's a good episode of House of the Dragon, because I've been looking forward to this for so long. There is so much time in between seasons, and so I really today should probably rewatch like some of the last season just to know exactly what's going on, because it was a long time ago, I feel like, when the last House of the Dragons season was on. So anyways, I'll be back tomorrow with my final update on what I get done. It is now Monday, and I am back with my final update for Dragon Week. I've officially watched House of the Dragon. I watched it last night, and I loved it. Me, myself. I know that I saw a couple of people say they didn't like it. Like, I think my brother said he didn't like it, but I liked it. It was enjoyable, and I'm just happy to be like back in like the whole world, you know? And anyways, so yesterday my stitching, I was working on Dragon Hall by Long Dog Sampler, and I was just working on the black border, and I actually reached the other corner. So that was like kind of my goal, is to, this right here is the very edge. So this is how far this border will be. And so I'm happy with that. I did 500 stitches, and it was just all black. It was kind of boring, but I was watching some Netflix documentary things that were keeping me entertained from like the boring kind of stitching. So I watched one documentary that was called like Maternal Instincts, about a lady who faked being pregnant. It was crazy. That kept me entertained and just stitching away, because I was just like, whoa, 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 whoa. Horrible. And then yesterday when I was watching House of the Dragon, I actually was working on King of Hearts and Stitches from Tiny Modernist. And I'll insert the picture of that artwork just so you can see, even though I've talked about it before in this video, but here is where I am on this chart. I was stitching on it during most of the show, but there was a couple times that I had to put it down. Like at the end of the episode, there was stuff going on where I was like, I gotta be focusing, and so I had to put this down. But I finished the, what is this called, like a tomato, and then I also have finished these flowers since I started working on it, and then I started working on this little like stand that the tomato is on. But I still need to do one more color, so that's why it looks like, you know, half done, because it is. And then I also was working on, I did this other X, I started this other heart, and I think all that's left is, I say all, but there is the spool of thread. It says love down here, and then there's a ruler. I think that's all that's left. So I'm really hoping that I can have this one done soon. I love the colors of this. It is just turning out gorgeous, and it's nice having like a small piece to work on instead of like big pieces of fabric all the time, because it's getting hot. I think today is supposed to be close to 90, and I don't have central air conditioning. I have a portable air conditioner that is in one room, and so like one room gets cooled down, you know? But yeah, it's gonna be really hot, so working on small pieces is going to be very nice this summer, you know, not having a bunch of big pieces of fabric like all these ones. Huge pieces of fabric. Anyways, real quick, I was going to talk about my progress on my larger pieces, and I think I'm going to go and take a like picture of the whole piece so you can see what it's looking like currently. So once again, I will real quick show Cozy Winter Booknook. So I worked on filling in this picture frame area here. I am loving the way it's turning out. Like the rainbow is just, it's so fun on that dragon wing. And there's just a ton of confetti, but the confetti is what makes this picture, which is, you know, kind of small, look as good as it does. So there is that. And then the full piece, like I said, I will get a picture because it's too hard to like hold it up now in frame, but I'll get a picture and I'll insert a picture of what the whole piece is looking like right now. And it's currently at 6.3%. Yay, it's went up a tiny bit. And then on Dragon Race into the Night, so I was working on the dragon wing, the very large dragon, and so here is what I got done. And then also you can see, like I said, the tower thing that kind of interrupts the wing, and so there's that. And then the full piece, I will also get a full picture of this one so you can see where it's at, and it's currently at 3.1%, I think. So there is all of my cross stitch for the week, and next I will talk about knitting really quickly. I thought I would do a quick knitting update during like the middle of the week while I am working on it, and so I'll stick this at the end of my video. Like, it's Dragon Week currently, so I'm doing dragon stitching, but I've also been knitting, and so I have been working on the Laurier top. I can't remember who it's by, but I will link it down below. I try and link any chart that is currently still available, like whether I am talking about cross stitch or knitting. I try and link all the charts in the description box, so if you're trying to find something, I usually will try and have it linked if it's available. Sometimes charts are retired, which is more like cross stitch related, and so I can't link them, but yeah, otherwise I try and link everything. So this is the Laurier top. The yarn I'm using is from Knit Picks. It's discontinued, and it's a lace weight that I had ripped out of a sweater, and so I wanted to reuse it and make like a nice summery top. And so I started this pattern, I think last month in May, and I currently have finished the top portion, and I have split for the body and the sleeves. So the sleeves are on hold, and then I have started working on the body of the sweater, and so I'm super excited. I'm at a point though where I need to get it like tried on because I haven't tried it on at all, and so hopefully, like, when you're doing this part, the yoke, you want to make sure that it goes like underneath your armpits when you connect it, and I haven't tried it on, so we'll see how it fits, but it looks like it should fit. I don't know. What I think I'm going to do though is I did put my sleeves on little circular cables, and so I think what I'm going to do is do the sleeves and finish those first and then do the body, because I am using leftover yarn, or not leftover, but like yarn that I ripped out of a sweater, and this yarn is discontinued, so I can't get more. I think I want to do the sleeves first, which they're just a short sleeve, and then that means I can use whatever yarn I have left for the body. And so yeah, I just want to get the sleeves done, and then I can do the body, and hopefully the body won't take that long, because I kind of am planning on doing like a slightly cropped length. Like, I don't want it to be super cropped. I want it to like go past my belly button, but I don't want it to go like past like hips, if that makes sense. Like the widest part. I don't want it to go past like the widest part of me. And so I want to be able to wear it with like a high-waisted skirt, because the high-waisted skirt is going to be, you know, belly button-ish, I think. And so that's my plan. So I will be back once I have an update, and like I said, I'll stick the knitting stuff towards the end of the video. I've also been working on my socks, which I will grab. So I am making a pair of just like a vanilla sock with a German short row heel, and I started these in May too when I was going on vacation, and I think I am getting close to the toe, so the decreases, and then you Kitchener stitch them together. So I think I'm getting close. The only thing is so I have my yarn split into two because I like to be able to like go back and forth and do like, you know, the rib of a sock and then the other rib and then the leg and then the other leg. So like my socks are always kind of staying at the same place. The one thing that I noticed, and I think part of it was just like I was knitting on this one at my parents' house, and so you can tell that the foot on this one, I can't think of the way pooling. The color was pooling, and so you can tell that like the color pooled on this one a lot compared to this one, which is much more like random stripey. This one has like a pink diagonal, which is fine because it's the foot, so normally you're wearing like a shoe, so people aren't gonna see the foot and that it's different. But yeah, I was just noticing that when I was knitting on this one at my parents' house the other day. I was like, this is doing some major color pooling, and my other one did not. So that's interesting. I'm guessing my tension probably like slightly is different in them because like I said, for one, I was like the one at my parents' house, we were like sitting outside and talking, and so I was probably knitting much like looser, but it'll be fine. It'll be just fine. So I'm hoping I can get those finished this week. It is currently Thursday right now, and I have been working on my knitting projects when I watch The Pursuit of Jade, because I am still watching The Pursuit of Jade, and I can knit and watch it, but I cannot cross stitch and watch it because I need to read the subtitles. So in The Pursuit of Jade, I think I am on episode 28. There are 40 episodes, and I am like obsessed. The more I watch it, the more I am invested. And yeah, I'm so into it. So it's a very good show. It's on Netflix. It is a Chinese show, so the original language is Mandarin, and so I have to have English subtitles to understand it, but it's really good. And it's also given me time to work on some of my knits. So I hopefully will get these two things finished, or at least one of them finished this week, just because I would like to be able to start another knit possibly this summer, so I need to get something finished before that can happen. So back to knitting, I have my two projects I was working on, which I had talked about earlier, which are my socks, which I think I'm at the point where I can start decreasing and do the toe on both of my socks. I just haven't done it yet because I need to be paying attention to like when I need to do my decreases, and so I need to just sit down one night and do that. So my socks are really close to being done, which actually I think I'm going to have them finished in my next video. So my video coming up for this week is going to be working on projects until they are finished. And so cross stitch example is I'm going to be starting off with King of Hearts and Stitches by Tiny Modernist, and I'm going to work on this until it's finished. So I will hopefully have at least one cross stitch and one knit finish next week. And so my socks, work on them until they are finished next week. And then I also would like to get it finished next week, but I don't know if it's possible, is my Laurier top that I'm making, which I still haven't tried on. But I did do the sleeves. So the sleeves are done on both sides. Like I said, it's lace, so you can't really tell what things are looking like until it's like washed and blocked. But I did do the sleeves. And so now all that's left to do is finish the body. So that's it. And the body is just, you know, rows and rows of knitting, which should not take that long, hopefully, but you know, you never know. So far I have this much put into the body. I need to place a stitch marker after I finish filming this so that in my next video you can properly like see how much progress I make on the body. But yeah, so my plan is next week to hopefully get a couple of these things knocked off of my whip list. I need to get my whips down, and so that's what I'll be doing next week. So that is it for this week's video. I will see you all in the next one. Thank you everyone for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. Bye!